From a Convergys standpoint, Richard, you weren't too far off the mark. 55,000 employees as of last count. We've been in the country 11 years. In the last 5 years, we've been holding the distinction of being the largest private employer. Yet, despite our scale and being the biggest Convergys geography in the entire global enterprise, we have the lowest attrition rates. We have the highest building from within index, which means we promote our leaders from within. And that is a testament to the fact that in the 11 years that we've been here, we've matured a lot of our entry-level people into able-bodied leaders, right? We also have one of the highest, not one of the highest, the highest employee satisfaction score in the entire enterprise. Much to the chagrin of North America, and I will get into that later on, who continue to question how much money we spend on engagement because they don't have anything like that there. And we've been, you know, our best defense is, well, here's our, you know, employee opinion survey score. Still highest among all of you, right? So nevertheless, the pressure to do more with less is always going to be there. Country management has actually been inundated with opportunities. More businesses coming into the Philippines, right? And we've actually had the issue of trying to funnel some of that business to our other geographies like Malaysia, UK, and India. But the clients insist, whether through personal experience where they've had a good experience working with us or by word of mouth. And now I'm going to go and say with confidence to Heidi as to why I confidently answer that we can run with the Tigers. And this is a testament to the country, not just to the company. We've tried to look for another Philippines. We cannot find in this region a country with the exact combination of, and this is applicable not just to BPO, but to any other industry, perhaps, who has a lot of operations here. The right combination of the quality of English speakers, the quantity of English speakers, the aptitude to take a subject matter, learn it to a certain degree of mastery that they can provide customer service on it from half a world away, the natural propensity for customer service, that affable nature of ours. We are a tiger. I'm not just running with the tiger, I'm the lead alpha male. As a country in the BPO industry, let's give ourselves a big hand. Come on. Right? And I'll always use this vignette, and I beg your indulgence. We have an account. We've had an account in Convergys. It's an automotive account, and of course, due to confidentiality, I can't tell you which automotive company. But those of you who have traveled are familiar with an onboard navigation computer system called OnStar. It's in most North American cars. It allows the driver to get real-time GPS, weather. I think now they're up to news. If you're one of those absent-minded people that locks your keys in your car, they can unlock your car via satellite. Our OnStar account here has been in operation since maybe 2005, right? We have bested the in-house customer service of OnStar in North America almost 10 years running. We've bested all the other vendors. And you know what the best testament to that whole thing about how the Philippines is fantastic when it comes to talent? None of our agents will probably ever ride in a car with an OnStar system. Or afford one. Or drive one. Right? I would love for OnStar to be in the Philippines. But we have Waze and Google Maps, so that's good enough for me. But my point is, you get somebody who's never ridden in a car, much less drive one. And half a world away, a North American will call them and ask for customer service, and we will provide that customer service for you. To a degree of satisfaction that the person is so happy and thanks us at the end of the call. If that's not a testament to being able to run with the Tigers, I don't know what is. I drone on, sorry. So how did we, from an HR perspective, support this growth? Well, one of the first things we did, and you know, the strategic business partner in corporate parlance has been maybe in circulation 7, 8 years, correct me if I'm wrong. In Filipino, I'll use the term gasgas. And in English, it's a card that's been played so often it's worn out, right? What does it really mean? Well, we took HR in its general job description definition as a support function payroll, benefits, employee relations. We redefined it and turned it on its head. And we wanted to attack it with a certain philosophy where, no, we're not just supporting you. We want to help you as a business partner, and we're going to start introducing terms that HR doesn't normally get associated with, such as profit, loss, and contribution to growth. So, recruitment, yes, we can play semantics and say talent sourcing, acquisition, retention, but there's a tremendous amount of importance, especially to a company that has no product. Our product is our people. It is vital to have a solid recruitment and talent retention strategy. Then we reclassified certain things within the HR function, right? We took a look at the whole value chain of Convergys. And by value chain, I mean source, recruit, train, back into operations, talent development. So basically hire to retire. Fire is such an ugly word. Hire to retire. Now, we took the basic HR services, and the battle cry is very simple. Do it efficiently, do it right, every time. Okay? Because there's no way you're going to lobby for airtime with your CEO or your CFO and present yourself as a strategic person if you can't get the basic HR stuff right. Good luck with that, right? So efficiency on the basic HR services, and then you start talking about strategic services, sourcing and recruitment, engagement, talent performance. And again, it's all linked to profitable and sustainable growth. So, after sort of revisiting the definition of HR and how we looked at it from support to business function, one of the things we did is to organize the HR function in a proper way to support the business. So you take a look at our recruitment function, and anybody in the BPO industry knows that your ability to recruit quickly and effectively is practically the lifeblood and directly linked to your ability to grow and to sustain. So our recruitment team has been structured in such a way where we have our sourcing and marketing services team that does all the nationwide campaigns of how to get people from the applicant pool to our doors. And that's not easy because it's not like we're the only BPO hiring, right? We're competing for all the same applicants and the same applicant pool. Now that you get them to your doors, who's your execution arm? Your execution arm are your recruitment managers at every site. We've gotten them to your doors, process them quickly, have a positive recruitment environment. I've been introduced to terms such as a positive rejection. How do I tell you nicely that I'm sorry you didn't quite make it, but afford you a modicum of dignity so that you do not walk away hating the organization for not accepting you? We've managed to do it in such a way that they actually they keep asking us, when can I reapply? Right? And so that's your execution arm. And then as always, there needs to be performance tracking and a think tank to do analysis on all the numbers that you're getting each and every day, to give you feedback as to what sourcing channels work and which do not, which are cost effective and which ones are costly, which ones have a better hit rate than others. Sometimes the most costly, maybe least effective in terms of hit rate, you kind of still have to pursue just because of the sheer volume that it delivers, right? So that's how we've structured recruitment. We did the same thing for HR. HR operations, which is your day-to-day. So we've locked down shared services, which is your basic services, right? All about efficiency, doing it cost effectively, and trust me, we've always been pushed to find a better way. No matter how well we have supposedly run it, it's always more with less. And then that frees up my site HR people in all of our 22 sites to actually be business partners to the site directors. And for most of us in the BPO industry, you know that your site directors are your CEOs and your general managers for each and every site. They have P&L responsibility over that site. And my HR BP's mandate is, never mind if you and I have a good relationship. Your primary relationship is with your site director. He's your GM, right? If he's happy or she's happy, you and I are fine. You and I could be fine, but if I keep getting escalations from your site director, you and I will have a problem. That's your biggest customer. Keep them happy. and be a business partner to them. Not just, you know, payroll, benefits. It's necessary. We all have to do that. I'm not downplaying it by any means. But we have to go beyond that. Execution, field support, policies and procedures, employee and labor relations, my favorite part. And then again, the feedback mechanism, right? We track almost every HR metric that we have, and we crunch all this data into actionable information. And I'll expound that a little bit later, right? Because the last thing we want to be is weathermen. I can tell you what the weather is going to be like, or you can walk outside and find out for yourself. That's not strategic HR. I'll break down to you what an attrition number means, where they attrit, why they attrit, so that we can have interventions on the attrition, because every positive impact I have on attrition has an impact to cost to replace, cost to hire, cost to train, which to a site director is your P&L. And that's what we mean by the B in HR BP. As Gary Leasing, was it, or our ex-president mangled the term, we have to speak the language of the business. We know HR, but we have to understand how the company makes money, what are the cost drivers, what are the revenue drivers, and we have to speak their language. That's the way the ball games, as the mangled saying goes, right? We have to speak their language. And then we have to educate them on the importance of HR. But for us to get their ear and their attention, we gotta talk numbers the way they talk numbers in the boardroom. And that's why we always have a think tank that tracks all these metrics. I'm gonna deviate a little bit and just give you a quick snapshot of some of the sourcing and national campaigns that we've done to attract people. I think it's fantastic, and I'm blown away. The You Count campaign here was a campaign that we launched to basically touch on that nerve where no matter how big we are, as an organization, when you join us, we're going to treat you like the unique and talented individual that you are. You're not going to get lost in the crowd. And that's where the You Count campaign was born. Cream of the crop, maybe I'm not the target market, but we tied up with a very popular donut chain that opened a few years back, where you get donuts if you apply. And for those of you in the BPO industry, you know that caffeine and sugar go hand in hand in the industry that we work in, and they continue to do so. It was a very effective campaign to bring people to our doorsteps. Lastly, the bench campaign, I thought was a fantastic spin on how we marketed the company. We tied a nationally recognized retail brand with a nationally recognized BPO company. And because our target market, which we studied, was the applicant pool was between 18 to about 25, young urban professionals very concerned about what they wear. They could identify with the brand. And because we studied that in our call centers, because they are non-client facing, we stopped mandating all this suit and tie, business casual stuff. We actually allowed them to come to work in jeans, right? And so now Bench, all of a sudden, as a brand, doesn't just become something I identify with, something I can wear to work. We actually tied up with them, and they were making Convergys shirts. That started to allow our employee base to identify with the company a lot quicker. I'm wearing a Convergys shirt by Bench. It was a source of pride. They were telling all their friends. You can imagine the employee referral numbers that we got just from that alone. The heart of the matter, and I'm sorry, I can't even read this myself, so I'm very sorry, but this is our balanced scorecard, and this is where the B comes in. We use the balanced scorecard for the HR team, and we introduced deliverables to HR that we got a lot of resistance from. Our balanced scorecard for HR has a financial target, right? So we had to kill this notion that we're just a cost center. Yes, we are. But we refuse to accept the fact that we're just a cost center. Guess what? We can help you with profit. I gave you a quick example about attrition. Right? When I report an attrition number to my senior leadership team, it's not attrition last month was 5%, better than previous month of 6%. No, those are just numbers. I present a 12 to 24 month rolling attrition because I'm going to show you trends. We all know they all attrit after January because they've gotten their 13th month. They also attrit sometime around February if you convert sick leave to cash, unused sick leave. They also attrit around March or April when they get their merit increases and their bonuses. And then the best time to hire is between between March and about July. Because everybody's graduating. Those that need jobs immediately will apply. Those that want to bum around and enjoy one last summer will apply late June, July. And then your attrition numbers start to taper off. And everything stabilizes again until after Christmas. Best hiring time, right? But to an HR business partner, when I tell my CEOs and my site directors, you're going to ramp up an account and you're planning to ramp up in January, I can tell you you're going to be challenged with that. Because not only are you going to have to ramp up, you're going to have to backfill because we have attrition trends, right? What's the impact to your P&L? Where your cost per hire is going to go a lot higher. Another way we impact financials, performance management, right? We have operations people who are very trigger happy. I understand it. They're pressured. They have to manage their numbers. They have people that aren't performing. Cut them loose. HR comes in and says, yes, but have you followed the proper performance management process? Because there are labor laws in this country, and we're not at-will employers in this country. They are protected and they have rights. In the same manner, not just to get in your face about the law, but let's sit down and review this non-performer. How badly are they missing the mark? Are they completely missing the mark and it's a welcome attrition, or are they just barely failing? Because I'll challenge you with this. How sure are you that the person you're going to replace them with is equal or better? Wouldn't it be easier, more effective, and a better message if we rehabilitate the non-performer, then bounce them and replace them and incur more cost? Again, direct impact to your P&L, right? Not to mention the fact that if you don't terminate them properly, you have a labor case, right? And labor expenses, direct impact to your P&L. We don't have a labor fund as an organization. Every labor case per site is charged to that site's P&L. So it is incumbent both on the HR team and on the site director to empower our first-line leaders as well as our HR team to be able to mitigate and handle all labor cases within the site. Don't let it get out to the NLRC or to the Department of Labor, because that's when the meter starts running, right? So it's not just about cost mitigation. It's about making sure that you have a direct relationship with your workforce. Same thing with engagement, and I touched on this earlier. North America has always challenged our budgets. And as far as we're concerned, we have been happily protected by our employee engagement scores. Well, not this year. Again, we turned it on its head and I challenged all my engagement folks. I said, guys, it's okay that our employees think we're a fun place to work. You know, it's okay that they think we have rewards and recognition, huge Christmas parties. But behind the veil, to borrow from the Wizard of Oz, this is what I want you guys to do. I want you to tie every event you have to a metric. You gotta measure that. Enough with the abstract, it's fun. Let the employees think it's fun. Those of us behind the curtain, tie that to an attendance metric, a performance metric, an attrition metric. Track the expenditure, and it's going to be on your scorecard, budget adherence, whether you're coming in below budget or you've overshot your budget. Do post-event surveys, and don't just ask the people that attended because they're on a high. I want you to ask the people that did not attend. What did we miss? Because there's a part of the workforce that didn't think that engagement activity was worth participating in. What are we missing? So crunch all this data, and every month we're going to sit down and review your engagement activities, the budget spend, and the impact, so we know what to do and what not to do in the coming months. So this is really where we've turned, you know, the HR function, not just from a cost center, which we will always continue to be, but we want to have a say. And we want to help you in your growth, in your profit, in your revenue, and in your loss. This is a dashboard. Again, I'm sorry for the fine print. But this is a dashboard for all our recruitment teams, corporate recruitment specifically. This shows you how many positions are open at a given time. This will tell you how long they've been open. This will tell you where we have gotten our candidates from, whether internal or external. It will tell you if a vacancy actually had a available candidate ready, because then that touches on your bench strength or the lack thereof, right? And we know that while we don't hire somebody, we might have some savings on the budget as far as the employment cost is concerned. What's the cost to your business for not having the right person at the right time in the right position? If that position has been vacant for a long time and it happened to be revenue generating, I think that's going to hit you harder than if you actually hired somebody. Now, this is tracked daily at 10 p.m. The discipline and the rigor of tracking this daily has instilled a sense of urgency in our recruitment teams. And I see a lot of heads nodding when I tell you that recruitment is key to an organization whose product is its people. Quickly summarizing the key principles that we used, you need to understand your business. Plain and simple. How does this company make money? What drives the cost? What drives the revenue? What drives the profit and all the loss? We have to demonstrate this sense of urgency. In this third-party vendor space, I'm not just fighting for the business that the customer has given me. I'm fighting for the business that my competitors want to take from me. And in the same manner, I want to take business away from my competitors. So every problem that we have needs to have been solved yesterday. Right? There's a sense of urgency that you cannot let up on. And in some cases, because we're mandated to understand HR and the business, sometimes we might have to demonstrate a sense of urgency more than our operations partners, because we try to understand both sides of the spectrum, the HR side and the business side. You need to demonstrate that it's in control. I report to a boss who's a self-professed control freak. I personally am borderline obsessive compulsive disorder. And I think most of us in HR probably are too. But if you're going to come to your business leaders and your principals, you come at them with numbers. You come at them with facts. And that's why I kept stressing the think tank and the performance tracking. Because we have a tremendous amount of HR data. But you have to crunch that into analytics and numbers so that when you talk to them, you talk numbers. You talk their language. Right? And that's how you demonstrate that you're in control. Numbers don't lie. And numbers cannot be refuted. They can be maybe challenged, maybe look into those a little bit better, maybe you can read into them a little differently. But when you start your argument and you build your case around analytics and numbers, it shows how much you have control of your HR function. And we are the guardians of business risk from a people perspective. And many times in labor cases, we have stood in the way of people that were supposed to be terminated because the termination wasn't being done properly. And the risk to the business there is a lot greater in the long run. And strong HR analytics. We actually have hired a couple of whiz kids whose talents with Excel put me to shame. But really, this is what they do. They crunch all the numbers that we have because we have to link it directly to process improvement, to all our optimizations, because it impacts the bottom line. And as a result of this shift in how we view ourselves as HR business partners and how we view our contribution to the business and how we have owned this new role, well, we started in 2003 with 1 employee. In 2008, we were about 15,000. At the end of 2013, we organically grew to about 40,000. And we've been happy and privileged to have a front row seat to this growth. And we're happy to have been able to support this growth from an HR perspective. So this whole new shift is not only helping the business, but it's a sustainable model that we're happy to have been put together. The 55 actually, I have to be quite honest, is as a result of a very early acquisition in the first quarter. We have partnered with Stream Global, as you understand, and that's what drives us to 55. It is a pleasure to work with them and to work with a company that also shares the same passion as far as the HR track is concerned. So thank you for allowing me to share the Convergys story with you.